n'avait jamais existé. L'humanité se précipitait vers son extinction. Nous avions besoin d'un Dieu pour nous sauver. Pour sauver le monde de son autodestruction. Pour que du chaos enfin naisse l'ordre. Alors nous sommes venus créer un Dieu. Des choses impossibles à prévoir, comme des sombres tableaux.
Are using this time of disruption and desperation to try and push through many elements needed to implement their fourth industrial revolution program. Pay attention to this here, the fourth phase of the industrial revolution. The fourth phase is significant for popping up all throughout this film presentation that I'm putting together. Is the fourth phase.
It is only the beginning of what we're really doing, and now we're in a different phase.
This is only the beginning of what we're really doing, because what they're really doing is putting everything in place to start the New World Order.
Now we're in a different phase.
So take note of that. This includes global digital currency, smart biometric surveillance, wearable technologies, online education, telepresence labor, including telemedicine, teletherapy. Everything will be done through a screen. You will get married through a TV, through a screen. You will watch your kids be born and your parents die through a TV screen. Everything we will be doing, the new normal from this point on, will be done through a screen, telecommunication. Alone, together. Social isolation, that is the world that they want us living in.
Have you thought about what's changed forever? What's changed forever?
I do think some of the digital approaches that we're catching on anyway have been accelerated. You know, even I'm surprised that doing these meetings digitally for a lot of things works pretty well. Is that doing these meetings digitally for a lot of things works pretty well.
Stop right there. This is the world's largest conflict of interest I've ever seen in my entire life. You've got a tech giant influencing the entire world's health initiative, as well as it's a conflict of interest on a level that I've never seen in my entire life. This is unacceptable.
We really need experts in government, and they need to think through these scenarios to protect us for any future pandemic. I think it will be a lot of change, I hope.
All of this is happening against a backdrop of increased policing, diminished labor and environmental protections, and the 5G infrastructure installation. So this is a screenshot that he took of the actual website. And so this is another thing we need to get into. We will get into the actual functional, interactive website of the Strategic Intelligence Central Grid for the World Economic Forum, which is it's a fascinating interactive web that includes literally, it shows it's linked and connected to like all the world's mainstream articles and videos and data being put out about all of these various different global structures.
Okay, and so this is where yet again things start to get really, really crazy, is I want you to take specific notice of the structure of the World Economic Forum's strategic intelligence map, basically their central database of all their data points of what's going on in the world. And pay attention to that structure, because that is the exact structure of the sun. It is a corona. It is a halo, the exact same structure, why it was very symbolically one of the key visual aspects of the entire season 3 of WestWorld revolves entirely around the symbolism of the corona and the eclipse, which is why they constantly depict their global maps throughout the scenery of the season 3 by the depiction of the corona, the sun corona of the halo of light. That's how they depict their global map, which is representing the global. This is the depiction of the neon god from WestWorld. It's the central AI database. It is the corona. And this will make much further sense later on in the film when we fully cover the etymology and symbolism of the corona. And yet again, this is also very interesting. Take a look at the model depicted here as the operatives for the outlier program. Look at the model, the shape of the model, compared to the World Economic Forum strategic intelligence model. Very interesting. And very interesting. Have a look at the models here depicted in WestWorld once again of the super AI quantum computer Rehoboam compared to the Central Intelligence strategic intelligence. Okay guys, so this is getting absolutely unbelievable. So I decided to track this down even further and even more in detail. So I ended up watching I ended up finding out what exactly this is. And it turns out that this is known as the divergence map from WestWorld is what it's called. It's called the divergence map. And what it does is it depicts a global depiction of the computer AI database where any significant event upon the globe happens, it appears as a global a spike in information, or in other words, a data spike in consciousness at these points of the globe. And so I watched the entire trailer. I haven't seen this trailer yet before, so I watched the whole thing through, and it's absolutely shocking to the very last detail. So let's go through and listen to this detail real quick. So what it is this is a timeline of events that have occurred in the WestWorld series. So the timeline begins here on June 12, 2019 with the divergence event of the wide-scale protests in Hong Kong, wide-scale political unrest, these are real events. The first two are real events that actually happened within our timeline. And the protests in Hong Kong were massive protests for freedom and sovereignty, and they were quashed. They were completely dispelled by the emergence of the corona, is what ended the critical mass events in Hong Kong. And don't ask me how I noticed this, but if I noticed the digits on the screen here, and it literally says phase 4 of divergence. This will be highly symbolic, highly significant later on in the film. The phase 4. Our next major divergent event is Washington, D.C. 12/18/19. Impeachment of Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, was our second mass divergent event. It then goes on to predict on May 20th of 2020 an ecological collapse in Indonesia.
We are in the middle of a war. In the middle of a war.
Actually, guys, Gates has likened this fight against COVID-19 to a world war, except this time we're all on the same side. So he's really hopeful that just like we saw during World War II, there will be an explosion of innovation and ingenuity, especially when it comes to vaccines and testing, so that we're less vulnerable in the future when this happens again, when this happens again, when this happens again.
We are in the middle of a war. No one knows it's happened yet, or that it's already been lost. For the most part, humanity has been a miserable little band of thugs stumbling from one catastrophe to the next. Our history is like the ravings of lunatics. Chaos. But we've changed that. For the first time, history has an author. System.
And on 4/17/39, the system was initiated, and this system build was 0.06, and it was named Solomon, as in the building of Solomon's temple. By who built Solomon's temple in the Bible? In ancient Israel? It was Hiram Abiff. Yes, that's correct. It was the master builder. Yes, that's correct. It was the father, the master builder, the master of Freemasonry, Hiram Abiff. That's correct. The master of the temple. That is correct. Yes, it is esoteric Hebrew Jewish mysticism of Kabbalah. Yes, that is correct. Yes. And for those of you who are fans of my Symbols of Power series know all too well that what is the actual Temple of Solomon? Yes, that is correct. That would be the human physiology. Yes, that is correct. Ancient Hebrew, Kabbalistic, Jewish mysticism, the human physiology, the control and mastery of the human body. Yes, that would be correct.
And up until very recently, the system was working. But there's someone we haven't accounted for. You?
Government response to COVID-19, and at the center of this grid is COVID-19, at the very center of this overall intelligence data grid that they are building. Let's go back to COVID-19. COVID-19's workforce impact, so we can link to all the information on the entire internet, linked to, you've got articles, video, you've got published studies, everything that they are putting out linked back to this digital database for COVID-19, everything involving government response, workforce impact, infection and spread, which includes videos, studies, articles, healthcare, for example, healthcare delivery, linked to public finance and social protection, linked to agile governance, linked to retail, consumer goods and lifestyle, linked to values, mental health, aging. This is the most important one, behavioral sciences, and this is where, down here at the bottom of the map, these are the most important functions down here.
Building a god is not easy. There were people, outliers, who you couldn't predict or control.
And as long as they are a part of us, there is no future for us.
What is your objective here?
You helped design the New World Order. I want your help to end it.
Why would I help you alter the plan?
Because you know the truth. It doesn't work. Your creator understood that too. That's why Sirach tried to silence both of you.
No plan is 100% effective.
You have to become the hero of the story now. The ball is in your court. The decision is yours. The choice is yours to step up and become the hero that you were meant to be. You are the one that has the power to break this system, to refuse it, to reject it, to scientifically analyze it, and to show people the light and the truth so that we all know the dangers of this path that we are walking, to become the hero of this story and to resist this future that is set out and planned for us. This is what the meaning of Dolores, who literally etymologically means the one who is suffering, the pain, the anguish, the suffering.
From what I can tell, the people that were sent here were all of the same category, classification U. What kind of people?
Divergence.
People like him. They call them outliers. They're turning their minds inside out and reconditioning them. So they're less of a threat to society. Your name's on a list with thousands of others. People for whom the therapy didn't work. They're now missing or declared dead. But to do that, he'd need high-grade biometric data.
High-grade biometric data gathered from the amusement theme park, which is a world in and of itself.
A Disney World biometric database.
Yeah, I sold it to him. Their parks needed capital, and that French fuck paid a fortune for little anonymous data. The end of the world came knocking, and you let it in. And it has worked. What is this?
A message for the damned.
Rehoboam saw in you and those like you the outliers. The fatal flaw that would have bent the world on its axis. It needed time and the right set of genetic information to restore you. You are now a better version of yourself. Rough edges rubbed smooth. No longer a danger to the world or yourself.
And that is a specific coded message for all the Freemasons out there, where the rough edges of the character is what's known in Freemasonry as the rough ashlar and the smooth ashlar, which represents the cutting of the stone in order to build any structure. To cut the rough stone is when the stone is the rough edges, the diamond in the rough uncut gems, or the uncut, unpolished stone before the final work of art has been completed, before the New World Order has been created, has been built, the world of Solomon and Solomon's Temple. So it's referring to the rough edges of the cultured human nature. In order to turn a human into a battery, you have to remove all of their inherent characteristics, their inherent flaws. You have to rub them smooth, polish them smooth, so that they are each identical and indistinguishable from each other.
They aren't even allowed to live or die.
In my projections, the world always caved in on itself until the outlier program began. Crime has been reduced worldwide. Hunger, deprivation. Removing outliers from the population also ensures they will have no offspring.
These are people you were talking about. You can't just weed them out.
But we did. And you were an important part of the program.
They can, and they did, and they will, and they are.
And your associate.
Now, look at this still frame. They strategically only included literally a single frame where this screen was actually clear enough to be read. They did this strategically because if you read the screen, it has the list of all the archived, documented, logged outlier programs, including the ones who were successful and the ones who failed. And it also includes their endpoint determination, whether they are deceased or what their specific programmed task was. So again, these are the mind-controlled Manchurian candidates tasked with specific functions such as murder, such as arson. So they are out. These are the mind control agents, the chaos agents, going out into society and committing controlled chaos. These are the ones who are programmed to cause chaos.
And, it'll take time to restore chaos and order, but we're order out of chaos, but we will.
Where could you go? Enfin, this order.
So that the new order can then be justifiably implemented because of the chaos that is being programmed into society by these people who deem themselves the Joker. I mean, it's as if the Joker has taken control over the government.
Anger. There's plenty of anger right now. How can you have more?
You don't think it'll exacerbate the problem?
David, I mean, I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets. Well, you think this is going to cause a little more anger? The world is an angry place. All of this has happened. We went into Iraq. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq. We shouldn't have gotten out the way we got out. The world is a total mess. The world is a mess, David.
It's insanity. They are deliberately trying to induce insanity and chaos in the population. They want utter chaos so that they can roll out tanks on the streets and have good justifiable reason to completely control everybody. And so this is the reason why they are also letting violent offenders, literally criminals, violent criminals, out of the prison system into the public population.
The DA's office didn't want this to happen either. No, this was the decision of one judge. This one, Deshaun Jones. He's got a fancy website, even a section for arranging speaking engagements. But he still hasn't gotten back to us.
You charge him with murder, and you released him, knowing that he murdered my son. And I felt like my son, his life meant nothing. That's what I felt.
Who have already been recommitted for murder after they've been released because of the coronavirus.
And yet again, this is also very interesting. Take a look at the model depicted here as the operatives for the Outlier program. Look at the model, the shape of the model, compared to the World Economic Forum Strategic Intelligence model. Very interesting. And so this is exactly why the AI system program, the newest AI system after the newest build after Solomon, was called Insight, was the name of the corporation that runs the central AI database, and it's called Insight, which is it's a double entendre. It is Orwellian doublespeak. It is Huxleyan newspeak, meant to invoke the word insight as an inspiration, as an inward sight, as an inner vision, as in the mental vision of the mind. But it's deliberately spelled insight as in to incite chaos, as in to cause, not to just genuinely inspire. It is to a deliberate causality. It is to cause chaos. It is to incite the new order, to invoke that, to evoke that into the world.
They're desperately hunting down hundreds of these people.
The police will always be used as the sheep who suck down their limbic pills, their limbic pharmaceuticals, which will shut down all their emotions and their human connections in order so that they will just go around rounding the rest of us up and hauling us off to be culled by the AI system.
The most efficient way we found to deal with the problem of the outliers was to use some of them to round up the rest. An elegant solution.
Yep. You always get the herd to cull themselves, to turn themselves in, to rat on each other, to the government.
We created an app and used it to regulate criminality.
So they created an app, just like all of our governments are doing, creating a digital app where you can just go and rat on each other, and you can just go and hunt each other down like government hired bounty hunters.
So all of this technology is controlled via the RICO app. And so RICO actually means, in the US, it means racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations. That's what RICO stands for. And the RICO, Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act. And that's in real life, not in the fictional series. In real life, that's what the acronyms RICO means. Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations. The RICO app.
You are one of our most successful operatives. You don't remember, because we didn't want you to. The AI reconditioning we administered along with the limbic pharmaceuticals created dissociated memories.
There you go, sucking down your sacred communion wafers.
Now it's taking me out because I don't fit its fucking plan anymore. Really? Because I represent the pharmaceutical company that manufactures that little piece of shit and bliss that your buddy just ingested. Military grade, platinum 6-7. Just because I ask one too many questions. Do you ever ask yourself any questions? Like how you wound up with the exact same job you had working for Uncle Sam?
So what can you do? Buck the system. I'm really fortunate I don't have any family in New York City that I personally have to worry about. If there are people that you are worried about, or maybe it's not even New York City, maybe you're in another city that's being really hard hit and you're just hearing really bad things coming out of that city, buck the system. Something is wrong in the system. So go against the grain. Request records immediately.
Same place they re-educated you?
Let's try again, Cal.
Not that you remember. No.
See, they use the mind control conditioning to reprogram the slaves so that they can go and hunt and cull themselves down. So they recondition, they create a Manchurian candidate patsy. They create these Manchurian candidates, mind control patsies that they use for their false flag operations in order to hunt down all the other MK Ultra victims and the MK Ultra patsies as well. So they use us to hunt ourselves down. So this needs to go out to every police, every military, every government official, every police and military. This message is for you guys. This is your fate. This is your future. You will all have to make this choice at some point in the very near future. You will all be forced to make these choices. You need to know what is coming.
They made me forget who I was. They took my life away from me. My memory. Why?
This is why you needed to come here, Caleb.
And so this is why on HBO's YouTube channel, WestWorld also released a specific promotional video advertising this just as if it's a real corporation going to be rolled out anytime soon. And they even include in their data description, if data is destiny, then you chart the path. That is the slogan for the company Insight, for the corporation Insight Chaos. And so they even include their website here on HBO's YouTube channel. So if you go to the website for insightinc.com, this is where it gets really interesting. And so it promotes it as if it's a real website and a real corporation. Copyright 2058, Insight Incorporation. Learn more about the programs for Insight, such as their advancements in transportation, in psychopharmacology. This is what it all revolves around. So again, this is the new order of sustainable development of Agenda 2030. Feel the way you want, when you want. Find the new you. Explore the Limbic program. Try it yourself. Ocean breeze, impulse, cozy fireplace. So these are artificially induced psychopharmaceuticals that induce these simulated realities, these simulated experiences. So they're inducing the pharmaceutical mind control digital programs to keep you well adjusted and well adapted to this sick society that they are creating for us, that is not conducive to human life and to human emotions and to human behavior. And so they are trying to eradicate that human behavior and reprogram it and readjust it to an unwell society, just as Jiddu Krishnamurti had said, and many other philosophers have said, it is not a virtue to be well adjusted to a psychopathic, sick society. First it was leeches and bloodletting. Yes, back in the early days of medicine. Then it was pill popping and mood stabilizing. Put away the blunt instrument and choose the precision backed by insight into what makes you and happy. Insight's revolutionary tab technology taps into the olfactory nerve for direct access to your system. Once placed in the mouth, these fully dissolvable limbic tabs transmit a digital code to the brain, which is immediately translated electrical impulses. Safe, 100% effective, these impulses generate a precise and specifically tailored sensation without any negative side effects. All it takes, small, painless metal implant that is carefully contoured to the roof of your mouth. Oh, so this is what they depicted in the show, where they implanted the metal thing inside the roof of his mouth. That's what it was. They were implanting the mind control into his body. Insight's technology is rarely explained, but according to the auxiliary website that we're reviewing, it does basically everything you can think of.
through Rehoboam, which is literally was the son of Solomon in the Bible and was responsible for inciting the revolution. That's what Rehoboam did. In the show, the characters Liam Dempsey Jr. and Liam Dempsey Sr. may have been parallels to Rehoboam and Solomon of the Bible. Again, Rehoboam is Solomon's son, whereas Junior and Rehoboam being the lesser known sons, whose legacy is that of disorder and incoming ruin. Whereas Liam Dempsey Sr. and King Solomon, are more renowned and remembered for their innovation and their intelligence. So in other words, these are the two parallels between the father and the son, between the orderly of the great king and a disorderly son. A great king and a bad son. Equivalent, again, to the AI machine learning quantum computers. Anybody can get the insight implant, but because Caleb served in the military, his has advanced features. One of the mercenaries says turning off his grip is a waste because people would pay a fortune for a military grade 1. By turning on Caleb's military grip, and so it's called the military grip, meaning that the construct, the machine, the AI Central Intelligence Service has a grip, a vice grip on your mind. That's why it's called a grip. The mercenary is able to view and, most importantly, control all of Caleb's vitals, including his hormonal response, his metabolic response, and heart rate. With the simple swipe on the tablet of the Rico app, he's able to essentially give Caleb a heart attack. If Rehoboam making predetermined paths for people is meant to mirror the host's loops, then the military grip is like the equivalent of the host's code, forcing them to obey an engineer's commands. So this is the real-life consequence of what they did to the fabricants or the hosts within the artificial WestWorld, within the theme park. They could control the host through the Rico app, and in real life they are controlling human minds using the Rico app as well. It's a direct real-world analog to what they've created in the digital cyber theme park world. Again, for total mind control. The more WestWorld Season 3 unfolds, the more we see the dangers of technology becoming too pervasive and all-encompassing. The monitoring of soldiers' vitals in the field is a commonly discussed topic in real life, with ideas ranging from smart shirts to tiny wireless patches on the neck, just like we saw in Captain Marvel on the neck of Veers, of Agent Veers, the military super soldier. But Insight has taken smartware several steps too far. Anybody holding the ID-8 tablet can control a human soldier like a robot and torture and kill them at will. As WestWorld tells us in every episode, the real world is quite literally WestWorld with human hosts. So it's an analog. This means that just as Maeve and Dolores learned how to use the engineer's tablets to turn the tables on the humans and other hosts, it's likely we will see Dolores and Caleb using the ID-8 app and the Insight grips in the future. For example, in Season 3 trailer, we see somebody inserting a grip into William's mouth, likely to torture and control him. Insight may have thought they were optimizing and simplifying humanity by making the world so tech-reliant, but they have just manufactured their own demise. And so this is what Elon Musk's, his AI brain interface that they're creating, along with Bill Gates. Bill Gates and Elon Musk are already creating this right now. So it's all being rolled out, and so this is why they're putting it out in Hollywood, in order to normalize you, to make it more acceptable. Because if you just saw this coming straight on the news in real life, it would blow your mind in smithereens, and it would literally melt your face because of how shocking and dramatic the cognitive dissonance would be in adjusting yourself to this absolute insanity. And so this is why they're putting it out in Hollywood first, to make it more acceptable and more adjustable once you actually do see this start coming out in reality. Because the mind doesn't know the subconscious mind can't distinguish between what is real and what is Hollywood scripted. And so it just experiences, a movie or real life the exact same way, and it stores your emotional memories the exact same way in your physiology. It can't tell the difference. And so this is why when you see it first in Hollywood, your conscious mind knows that it's not real, but your subconscious mind in your body doesn't know the difference. And so this creates a cognitive dissonance, and what that does is that means that when you then experience the real thing in real life, that you won't have the same physiological repulsion and repugnance to and be disgusted by the actual reality is happening. So then you're like, oh well, yeah, I know, I'm well adjusted to this by now. And so it's normalization. So let's go on to read. Pairs instantly to Insight's ID8 app. So here you have it. The metal chip implant, the cognitive implant, which pairs instantly to Insight's Identification 8 application, which is a digital app. So this is a digital app that you carry around on your phones or your devices, which directly pairs to your mental implants, to your mental mind control, mood enhancing digital implants. Each fully customizable experience goes far beyond the simple up or downer dichotomy of the early 2000s, allowing you to leave your cares behind with a mellow sunset or skyrocket your work ethic with a soaring eagle. Try it for yourself. So see here, they for anyone who would actually have followed this trace down, would have been like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Come on. Oh, I can't believe this is fake. I want it to be real. So they're trying to induce this, in the population. They're trying to normalize it. They're trying to get you to accept this as a good thing, as it is great. Let's see what the technology tab has to show us. Tell us who you are. We tell you who you can be. No, we tell you who you will be. We tell you who we will allow you to be. Clarity beyond the crystal ball. Powered by more than bytes and bits, though there are plenty of those, Insight promises just that. Insight into who we are as individuals and a collective. Our groundbreaking strategy engine, Rehoboam, finally gives humanity a way to navigate through the millions of tiny decisions made throughout our lives, and to reflect on and learn from those thousands of years of recorded human history. Rehoboam's spherical design is a reminder of the collective responsibility we have to each other on this planet, a commitment to strength and improvement by way of objective computation and sophisticated machine learning. Choosing Insight means paving the way to a better future with you at the controls. Yes, because you are the one in control of the AI database. But in truth, you're only the one in control of yourself. So you are in control of the future by means of taking control of your own life, taking responsibility for your own life and self-knowledge and self-empowerment by getting off-grid, living off-grid, getting out of the cities, and start growing off-grid communities with your own food supply. Free of psychopharmacology, where you don't need it because nature is, and the gut biome, the gut health, gut bacteria of a whole food plant-based diet is what makes your physiology and your psychomental state. So through the technology advancements, seamless, wireless, limitless, explore personal insight. And this is, of course, on-the-job XR glasses allow semi-skilled workers to become construction experts or heart surgeons, as the glasses break down complex tasks into clear step-by-step instructions with no preparation necessary. And so, there are positive applications to some of these things, but that's not how the creators of these things are intending it to be used. And so again, it's the problem of dual use. And so this is exactly what Google Glass has already developed. What Google Glass is developing, their visual glasses technology that never took off. Nobody wanted this shit. I mean, it didn't go anywhere, but they're going to keep trying to push it and keep trying to push it until eventually you have no choice but to accept it. Reality has never been more convenient, but of course convenience isn't optimal. Find a new way to connect to the world. Insight OS offers solutions for most products and platforms, which means your virtual assistant goes where you go, in style. Untether yourself from the handheld experience with our AI-powered operating system, expanding the communication ecosystem into one that is truly multisensory and inclusive. And so this is augmented reality technology. These are the Google glasses that you wear around, and they literally show you a fake reality. It's an augmented reality, so that when you take the glasses off, it's a lot duller than it looks with the glasses on. Which means they're augmenting your reality, which means they're augmenting your perception, which is just the exact symbolism of the glasses used in the movie They Live. The glasses will show you the true world as it really is, as opposed to when you put these glasses on, it shows you a fake world. Multi-dimensional, like you. Yeah, that's true. Sophisticated acoustics and full voice command control in a full suite of accessory options. From traditional standalone headphones to our fashion-forward tech ear jewelry. Designer glasses, sunglasses, and contact lenses get the Insight treatment with full definition XR video overlays and motion interactivity, so motion and target tracking. All you need to do is link your Insight profile and a tailored virtual assistant at the ready to help you guide your life. And so we then link to WestWorld's chartation system of the AI control grid. And this is where these smart cars and these smart vehicles, these unmanned autonomous vehicles that are only programmed, you will only be allowed to travel within the city limits and to your direct destination that is predetermined and pre-programmed for you. This is exactly what they showed in Philip K. Dick's reiteration by Steven Spielberg in the movie Minority Report, where the smart vehicles you're not allowed to go off the beaten path. You're not allowed to travel to the countryside. You're not allowed to travel to the national forests and these off-limits restricted areas from Agenda 21 that are being zoned and rezoned and quarantined off so that you can only be restricted to the dense populated city limits. You will not be allowed to travel outside to national parks, or you will not be allowed to chart your own course. Will get you where you need to go, but not where you want to be. This is not about free will choice. Live your life in motion with Insight's fully autonomous transportation technology, and this is what Elon Musk is producing with his smart cars in conjunction with Google, Amazon, and this whole AI technocracy. You'll get to your destination faster than ever before, but you won't want the journey to end, and nor will the journey end, because they will determine everywhere that you go, and everywhere that you are allowed to go. And so that is it. That's your Insight WestWorld technology digital AI database. That is the world that they are creating. Is why she becomes the hero and is the one who breaks the system, which is an allegory, same lines of the Matrix, of the hero, the savior, the one who destroys the system. And this is, hence, she is the anguish and the pain and the suffering, which represents the cycle of eternal samsara.
Loves them who I am. It's not about who you are, Caleb. It's about who they'll let you become. They put you in a cage, decided what your life would be. They did the same thing to me. I don't need an algorithm to know that the man who built the system won't go down without a fight. I'm a dead man either way. At least this way. I get to decide who I want to be.
Which is the wheel, the karmic wheel of suffering, of passion. And so this is why they depict the eclipse with the breaking, with Dolores, the hero, the one, Neo, the one who destroys the Matrix, who breaks it with the breaking point of Divergence, which is the same story of the Divergent series. Only the Divergents are the one who can resist the mind control of the injected serums, the mind control serums from that science fiction series. So only you, the choice is yours, only you have the power to change this, to change the path set before us, to become the hero of this story. The time is now. So stay tuned for the next part. We'll pick up right here where we left off. You can watch it. I will leave any intros and stuff out so that you can watch it in a consecutive style. And so again, my name is Cullen Smith. This is Lifting the Veil. You can find all of my full books, presentations, videos, films, articles, posts at patreon.com/liftingtheveil. And there is also a ton of exclusive content, and I will leave the cited reference links in the description down below. So you can check that out for all of my full content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, make sure to subscribe. Please help me reach more people by sharing these videos around on the internet, because I rely solely on word of mouth, and the recommended algorithms are not recommending any of my videos or films anymore. My channel has literally been completely restricted, so I rely on your help, and I need your help. So please help support this channel by sharing my work around if you appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and leave me your comments. I definitely want to know what you have to share and what you have to think about all of this stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Y'all stay safe and take care of yourselves, and I will see you later.